Hi there, and greetings to you from wherever you are watching me from. My name is Ibrahim, and before I start, I would like to let you know that we have a very big channel on Telegram where we post our questions and exercises. It's a channel dedicated for programmers. And so in case you are interested, you may join in the description below. That is where I personally post my exercises and my questions. It's a very big discussion platform for developers, and we help you fix any bug that you may encounter in your programming. So aside that too, I would like to let you know that we are live 24/7 to fix and help solve all your questions. We are beginner friendly as well, so it's a community we are building. If you are interested, you may join us in the description below, but in case you are not interested, you are welcome to watch the video. Hello and welcome once again to our CSS crash course from beginner to a pro. Okay, so before we start, I will ask you to subscribe to the channel if you've not subscribed. This is what keeps us motivated to always bring new content. Okay, all right, so before we continue, I will say that I assume you are a complete beginner, so I am going to take you from the ground up. Okay, I am going to give you everything that you need in order to code CSS like a pro. Even if you already have knowledge on CSS, you are still welcome to watch this video, because I am going to be covering some of the concepts and some of the things that most of us are doing that we even don't understand or don't have much idea about. Sometimes some people come to my DM and start saying that they've been coding, but all what they are doing is they copy codes. Like they have a set of codes somewhere that when they want a specific or a particular functionality in their system, then they just go there to copy and then they paste it and they get their desired result. But this is not how we code. For coding to be fun and for you to code perfectly, you need to understand why you do some things in coding. You need to understand why you do some things, so that whether you don't need to go about copying codes. Okay, so in this lecture I am going to make sure I put you on the right track. I'll give you whatever that you need, so that when you stand to code, even the computer will start laughing. All right, so let's begin. Okay, so the first slide that we are going to be looking at is what is CSS. Now, those who watch my previous lecture on HTML, you saw how few my slides are. Okay, I'll not be giving you all the slides at once, but I'll give them bit by bit. Okay, and there are sometimes we will shift to practicals when we get to a particular side that needs to be explained more. Then I bring in the slides again. Okay, so for now we are going to focus on the introduction part of the slide. That is why we have this. So it says, what is CSS? CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet. Okay, Cascading Style Sheet, and it's a language for styling HTML or XML document. But of course, we are not going to talk about XML here. We are going to talk about HTML. Okay, so CSS is like it's a language for styling documents, for shifting buttons from one side to another, from changing the colors of the page. You see, there are some websites when you go there you can even sleep there. It's very nice, looking good. With that one, that design is achieved with CSS. All right, so that's all what CSS is all about, for styling documents, for styling, giving style to HTML documents. Okay, now we have something too that we need to also take a look at. That is the CSS syntax. Okay, CSS syntax comprises of three things that you need to always take a look at. Okay, we have the selector, we have the property, and then we have the value. So the selector, I said the selector is the target HTML element that you want to style. Okay, the element that you want to give the style to. That is what the selector is all about. So it could be the tag name, like the H1, P, small, see all the tag names that you know. It could be them, or it could also be the class. So you can have a P tag, and you give it a class of maybe myself. Okay, so you target the myself and you give it also the style you want. We can also do it by the ID and etc. etc. There are just many, but this is what in this slide I included. We have the property. The property is the characteristics of the HTML elements. Okay, properties are the characteristics. They are sort of like the features of the HTML element. So example is the color, the weight, and blah 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 blah. Okay, this is what it means. You can select an element, an HTML element, and give it a color of red. Okay, you giving it a color. The color is the property, and the red, which is the value. Okay, so property and value, they move together. You declare the property and you set the value for that property. So if I want to change the background of the body element, I'll give it the property of background, and then I'll give it a value of whatever color I want, maybe red or blue or yellow. Hello, that is what it means. The value defines the what the property should have. So if you specify width, the value of the width will define what the property width should also should have. Okay, so let's move on. Now this is an example that I want to show. This is an illustration. Now don't look at the complexity that it may look like, because I know that some of us are complete beginners, so looking at this curly brace will bring some sort of confusion. So just don't look at it for now. Let's look at the explanation. Okay, so you see that I have P, and then I have curly braces, and then I have color, and then I've given the color a value of red. Okay, so this is how the explanation goes. The P that you are seeing is what we call the selector. So if you look at what is at the right side, you will see that I have given the color codes. Okay, the color codes, meaning this red thing here, this red is representing the selector, and then the whatever you call it is also the wrapper, and in that order. So the P is the selector. When you declare the P, the next thing that it follows is the curly brace, the curly braces. Okay, in programming, curly braces defines a block of code, meaning that whatever thing that will come inside the open and closing curly braces defines the set of properties that will be given to the selector, which is the P. Okay, so we have P, and the P, we've given it a property of color, and the property also has a value called red. Very good. This is what I want you to take notice of. First, you declare your P, which is the selector. Okay, and then what? Your curly braces, opening and closing. And now inside the opening and the closing of the curly braces, that's where you define your properties. Okay, so in this example, we have declared that we want the color to have a value of red. Okay, so look at how it goes. The property will come. What we have here has a property of color, and followed by the color is what? It follows by a colon. Okay, a property will come, then you bring the colon. Then immediately after the colon, then you specify any value that you want to give to the property. And after the value you bring your semicolon to tell the browser that this is the ending of this particular property. Okay, so we have one property set, and the property has a color, and then the property color has also a value of red. Okay, so make sure that each time that you define your property and your values, immediately after your property, you will bring this the colon. Okay, the colon, and then after the colon is where your value will come. Immediately after the value, that means we are done with this particular property, so you terminate it. That is a sort of full stop. Okay, in programming, semicolon is our full stop. That tells the compiler, in this case it will tell the browser that, oh, this is the ending of the particular property. Okay, so this is what I want you to take notice of with CSS syntax. This does not change. This is it's the same everywhere. You just have to make sure that you really get how it looks like, and all the rest you will know them automatically. Okay, all right. I also want you to understand something small about CSS. You see, HTML, in HTML, every element is seen as a box. Okay, you know, a box. Every element is seen as a box. So I have it here that box has a width and a height, and so we can also give width and height to every HTML element using CSS, be it image, be it a span tag, be it a link, whatever it is. It can still be given the width and the height property. All right, yes, so that's something that I want you to understand. If you get this, when we get to padding and margin, things are going to be very, very, very easy for you. All right, so that brings us to the end of our slide.